your ex broke up with you 2 weeks after you came back from studying abroad in Australia.
Yes.
He was an international student from where?
Serbia.
Yes. Okay. And he was at your school?
Yes.
He was on a full ride for rowing?
Yes.
And you were caught off guard when you returned back. You guys, I think you said it was a year you were in this long distance relationship. Broke up with you 2 weeks after you got back. Did he do it in person or?
Yes.
In person?
Yeah.
Okay. How long was the convo?
Well, we got into an argument the one night.
Oh.
And then the morning.
So the night before the breakup, you got into an argument?
Yes.
About what?
Well, we were all drinking and my friends were over and he was just, getting a little, I don't know. He was just getting where he was kind of coming at me for things and making fun of me, just like kind of playing because like we're very like sarcastic, playful,
So
but it was kind of getting getting like past the teasing point.
Okay.
So I was like, hey, like chill out, and then he didn't, and then I was like, okay, go home, like you're way too drunk. And then he was like, oh well, in my country you can't tell a guy to leave, like you kicked me out in front of your friends and I didn't think that you should have done that. And so then I gave him some time. I didn't contact him. And then the next morning he came over with all my stuff from his place and goes, I want to break up with you.
Oh, because earlier you said that you didn't know why he broke up with you.
I don't think this was the biggest motivator, but I think it obviously played a part.
Wait, so to be clear, you were in your dorm room?
In my apartment on campus.
Your apartment?
Yes.
Okay, and you guys are friends, right? So
Yes.
were you there?
I met her after this relationship.
Okay.
Yes.
So a couple clarifying questions here. So you guys, it was like a Friday or Saturday night?
Yes.
And you guys were at your apartment. How many people were there?
I only had like 2 friends over, 2 or 3 friends.
And it was him and then a few other female friends, or what was it?
So I had, I think, 2 of my girlfriends, a guy friend, and then him. And we were over just making cocktails.
And was he friends with them too, or not really?
Not really, like here and there.
Okay.
They've hung out, but not.
And is he a heavy
close.
drinker?
Not really. I mean, it depended, I guess. He would have to be up at like 6 a.m. every morning for rowing practice, so he never really drank too much.
Okay.
So this was like a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
Yes, but then also he thought that I sometimes, wanted to drink like more than he would, and like that was.
So would you guys roast each other?
Oh yeah.
So it was like kind of you guys would tease each other.
Yes.
But the teasing went too far.
Yes.
Did you go too far also?
No.
So question, during the breakup conversation, because you guys had a conversation, right?
I mean, not really. He kind of just said that.
So he came over, here's your shit, and left?
Well, yes. And then, I'm having my meltdown. And then.
Wait, when you say you're having your meltdown, during the breakup?
Yes.
Okay. But during that conversation, did he say, like, did you guys have a conversation about the previous night?
Yeah, it was basically just about, he was like, oh, like in my country, if you can't do that, you can't kick a guy out, especially from your friends. That was like,
yeah, let's go into that.
Okay.
So you kicked him out of your place.
I just said go home because he was like way too drunk and like.
Okay. So when you say he was going too far, like what was he saying?
I don't even remember most of it because I honestly didn't think it was that big of a deal, because I thought like him just going home would have been like, I'll see you tomorrow.
But this, it's okay. You guys were teasing each other back and forth. It starts getting a little too, maybe a bit insulting. And this is all in front of there's 2 girls and a guy there,
yes.
right? Okay. So there's 5 people total. Okay. And so, so is there like an argument that's had, then you kick him out in front of your friends?
So we went to this place across the street for pizza and I like talked to him separately. I was like, hey, like, can you like calm down? You're being very like obnoxious. And he was like, yeah, for sure. And then we got back and it continued. And then I was like, I want you to go. And like, obviously it's an on-campus apartment. It's not that big. Yeah. So like people heard. Were you guys yelling at all? Either of you? No, not really. I think maybe just I was like, you need to leave, like go. Like I don't think it was really yelling. Maybe like raising your voice.
The tone that you told him, you need to go. Can you repeat it? Like, pretend I'm your ex-boyfriend. How did you say it?
Just like, well, we were very drunk. I think it was just like you need to go. Like.
And then did he immediately leave?
No, he went to my room, and then I went there, and I was like, "What are you still doing here? Go home." And then I guess he got mad. So.
And then when you said that, he left.
Yes.
Okay. And let's see here. But that's not the end of the story. So you guys break up.
Yes.
What did you do after that?
Well, I kind of was like taken aback, and this was like my first relationship, and I, was kind of, unsure of things that were happening. So I was like, he had a lot of stuff going on in his life that was stressing him out. So he was like, okay, let's just like take a break, and then like we'll talk. And then after like a month or something, it was like nothing's happening. So like that was it. But I was also, I guess, very resentful towards him. So
no, but what did you do?
Oh yeah. So I decided, I knew of some shady things he was doing. He was here in the US, full ride to our school's, pretty expensive, and all of his apartment and everything, he needed, money. And as an international student, he's not allowed to work if it's not like a campus job or something. So he was really struggling financially. So where we met at our past job, he was stealing a bunch of the products and then selling them online on different retailers. And so I was very mad about this whole situation. So I decided, without doing anything really, I didn't know what would happen, but without kind of confronting him in person something, I decided through our anonymous ethics portal to report him in hopes that he would get kicked off the rowing team. And
the college ethics,
yes.
You reported him to the college?
Yes.
To the police or just the college?
Just the college.
Yeah.
Because the job was it's kind of tied to our college.
I see. Okay. And so you did that to try to get him kicked off the rowing team?
Well, I thought maybe it would be because he was already kind of on the rocks with, not really taking school seriously, even though he was there for free. So he was kind of on suspension, I guess, from participating in some some of the
this
races.
Was before or after?
This was before. This is one of his big stressors.
No, I meant before or after you broke up.
No, she did it after the breakup.
After
the ethics? Yeah, that was after.
So yeah, you were, in your notes you just said he had a full ride for rowing. You were caught off guard because of the breakup. You were upset, so you submitted him to your college ethics portal since you knew he was doing something illegal to try to get him kicked off the team and sent back to his country.
Yes.
Did he get kicked off the team because of your report?
I don't know. I don't think he did. I know he was in very his standing, his suspension, everything academically. It was kind of rough, so I don't know if it had any impact. And because it was anonymous, I have no way to check. He did graduate though. I don't even know if he's still in the US. I don't know where he is.
When was this? 2 years ago?
Summer of 23.
Okay.
Did you feel guilty for doing that?
Yes.
Why?
Now I do more so, just because what if he actually did get deported? I would feel bad, especially because it takes a lot to, I guess, move here alone and start your life and everything. But in the moment, I was just so mad at him. Why
didn't you? I mean, I'm a little confused though. You knew he was doing this illegal thing. I'm not saying you should have done this, but I mean, it's obviously you did it out of revenge because he broke up with you. Yeah.
What's the question?
I mean, it seems like...
Well, there was also other personal issues that were going on, but...
What do you mean other personal issues?
Just stuff that we didn't see eye to eye with.
Such as?
Like
Such
values,
as, such as.
Like values
Right here.
and
No.
What?
Just answer my question.
Yeah.
Such as.
like intimacy, going out, just things of that nature.
What do you mean by intimacy?
Just the fact that, one of the big things was that I just got back into the country. My medicine was changed. I didn't feel like doing much, I guess. And then he kind of always pushed that on me.
Wait, sorry.
But-
He pushed what? What did he push?
Just being intimate, sex and stuff. He was always very pushy.
What do you mean he was pushy?
Would be like, oh, come on, it's been X amount of time.
What do you mean X amount of time?
Blank amount of time since
But you guys
anything.
were you guys in a monogamous relationship?
Yes.
And did you ask for the monogamous relationship?
Yes.
You wanted to be in a monogamous sexual relationship with him?
Mm-hmm.
And early on in the relationship, was the frequency with which you were having sex more frequent?
Earlier, yes.
Also, you said you guys were in a long-term relationship, so you guys wouldn't see each other very much, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
then it was when I got back, he expected everything kind of right away.
Wait, what do you mean right away?
When I got back from Australia.
You guys had been dating for 9 months or something, right?
Yeah, I know, but when I got to Australia, I'm getting back into this time zone. It took him 2 weeks since he basically moved in without saying he was going to move in and expected me to drop everything to be with him every 2 seconds, which of course in the beginning I was yeah, but I also have to study. I also want to see my other
Wait,
friends.
so you're upset that your boyfriend wanted to have sex with you?
No, I'm upset because sometimes when I'd say no, he wouldn't.
Well, okay, that's non-consensual, but my confusion here a little bit is it's you're saying he would force himself on you, is what you're saying. Okay, well that's not appropriate, that's non-consensual. The way you were originally explaining it though was he was pushy. He would be babe, I really want to have sex.
Yeah.
But do you consider if he wanted to would you consider him being pushy just verbally, hey babe, I really want to have sex, we haven't done it?
No, but it wouldn't just be that is the issue. But I explained it like that because I didn't really want it.
Okay. Well, I'm just, I guess my confusion, and I'm not excusing if there's not consent, that's absolutely unacceptable. But if there was this mismatch in terms of the frequency with which you guys wanted to have intimacy, it doesn't sound like this was a good fit. So, yeah, I guess.
Any other questions?
I'm just curious, how soon into the relationship did he start forcing himself?
I don't know. When I got back, because everything was fine. I think it was the distance.
So you guys were together for a year?
Yes, but it was very, distance, long distance.
But
had you not been with him for 5 months?
Well, yeah, she was in Australia.
Yeah, but you didn't see each other physically
for a while.
For those 5
Wait, but
months.
so hold on. So you had been intimate previously, correct? Mm-hmm. And every single time prior to that was consensual, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you'd been with him for a year. All your sexual encounters were consensual.
Yes.
But then he forced himself when you came back.
Yes.
Okay, and because you didn't want to have sex with him, he forced it.
Yeah, I was changing my medication and getting back on the time zone. So it's
Can I ask a quick question? Sure. Was he financially providing for you at all while you were away?
No.
Any time throughout the relationship?
He'll pay for dinner.
Dates and stuff? Was it pretty standard that he paid for dates?
Yes and no. It depended. Sometimes I would, but I would get him lots of gifts. I would be the one to drive down when we were doing the little bit of the distance when I was in Massachusetts to visit him. Like, all of that was on me. I drove down, like, I would get groceries. I would, like, do all this stuff because he's the only one. He was, I don't know, he's still here, was the only one in his family in the U.S. He didn't have, like, very much help financially wise. Like, yeah, if that makes sense.
And then, I mean, first off, I'm sorry to hear that this happened, but did this happen multiple times?
I would say
Did you go?
2 or
like,
3.
Did you go to the police? Did you go to the university?
No,
I'm gonna cut out real quick here. Some of these questions are a little hard. Like, this is a lot for someone to talk about. So thank you for sharing. First of all, what happened to you is not okay, and it happens far too often. And yeah, I'm just gonna put my foot down on this one. And Ryan, you can be mad at me, but there are certain things that she probably didn't want to come up and talk about this. It's not a fun subject. Most of the time, girls don't come forward because you're dating the person. So it's like, how do you even tell people, especially if it was consensual at one point? So it's one of those things, like, it's hard to go through. Thank you for sharing, because it's not easy. And I hope that you're talking to someone about it.
I have one final question.
Yeah.
You were so upset at him because he broke up with you that you wanted to get revenge on him, and you reported him to the campus for a minor petty theft. If your intention was to get revenge on him, why did you not accuse him of something more serious?
I think because in the back of my head, I still cared for him a lot.
But I mean, your intention here, I mean, you said you wanted to get him kicked off the team and sent back to his country. It's very vindictive.
I'm sorry. I just think it's a little different when it's someone that you were in a relationship with and there's background, there's history. Obviously, if this was just a random guy, I'm sure that different actions would have been taken. But this is just a complex situation where, you can't really criticize somebody too much for how they reacted because of the severity of the situation.
Also, it's one of those things that's, I'm just going to be honest with it. It's you can go forward with it, and it's what you can prove. And when you go forward, you get pounded by people having to relive it over and over. And sometimes you just don't want to do it. I get it.
I agree.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the extent of my questions. You did tell us this story about your ex. You had not disclosed in your notes here that there was this other component of the relationship. Interesting.
I'm sorry. I feel bad because it's like, I don't want you to think that I'm questioning you because I want, like, if you don't want to talk about this.
No, you're fine.
Okay,
I don't even know what
Okay. I mean, it's fair. I asked about the financial thing earlier partially because I think it's just to kind of understand what's going on in his head, going 5 months, assuming he was, not cheating on you during that time.
Yeah.
Men have needs and stuff, and not by no means to justify, but just to kind of understand what's going on in his head. But I'm curious, when that happened, following the incident, at what point were you immediately like, wow, I was just SA'd, or did it take time to kind of come to that conclusion?
I think it did take time because he was my first relationship, and he would say, you're not, being a girl. I don't know if I can say that.
No,
Can't
say that.
I'm sorry. Essay. You are not essaying someone if you're in a relationship.
Even if you're not married, was that his?
Yeah.
Is that a cultural thing for him? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, just curious.
Okay, well, I'm trying to think.
But so I guess obviously, he went down some roads that he should never have gone down. This is obviously essaying somebody or forcing yourself upon somebody. There is the level of, course, as when you're in a relationship with somebody, when you're married to somebody, and you're trying to pursue them physically, you want to make sure that they're okay with this. So forcing themselves, that's terrible. But I also want people to realize, like you said, you regretted the aspect of you anonymously telling that he did these terrible things after you guys broke up. I mean, knowing that you have regrets for that it's not something you practice now. Like if you were in the same position, you wouldn't do the same thing, correct?
No, I would not.
Exactly. So I mean, you learned your lessons. Obviously, it's never something he should have done those couple times. But I appreciate there is that growth.
We have a chat coming in.
Ogle donated $200. Alexa, you can't put your foot down if it's not your show. Go to youtube.com and start your own show, friend.
Anyways, we're just going to move on, but we have another chat here. I do appreciate the message, Ogle. We have, we do have this. This came in a little earlier. When it comes to moving on to the most recent ex that you dated for a year, you've been broken up for a year at this point. The love of your life, as you describe him.
Yeah, that one.
You said that you got, if I recall, you got ghosted by him. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Like no contact.
Yeah.
Okay. You said that. Did you say I love you to him on your second date? Is that what I recall from? Someone said that in the notes.
No, I feel like last time I told the story, I really explained it horribly, but I did tell him that I loved him like 3 months after we.
Oh, yeah. Somebody here said it was the second time you met him.
Well, it was long distance, so I guess yes.
Okay, that's different. I thought it was like the second date. You guys been talking for a week.
No, that wasn't the second date.
Yeah. You said that you love him, but you're not waiting for him. Something like that?
Did I?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
Does that ring a bell?
Not really.
So you've had no contact with him for a year?
No, it's going to be a year and I have not spoken to him.
And he ghosted you?
Yeah.
Okay. You're still in love with him though?
I still have a lot of love for him.
I don't know what that means.
It means that I'll still have a lot of love for him. I don't know.
Okay, how about this? If he contacted you and he was like, "Hi, Ashley, I want to get back together," would you get back with him?
I don't think so. But I can't tell you that for sure. I don't know how I would react.
I mean, it's a hypothetical, so it's like you can't picture yourself in hypothetical. Like you pull up your phone, you look at it now. And it's
hypothetically, I want to tell you no, and I would have enough self-respect. But emotionally, I don't know.
Okay.
I could say no, bye. I'd want an explanation.
Why he ghosted you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, not really.
Okay. Any other dating-related topics that you wanted to hit on?
Not ones that we're not going to hit on, so no.
What do you mean?
I feel like...
If there's one thing that you wanted to contribute to this podcast tonight, what would it be?
That I'm not sure. About dating, I'm not sure, no.
It's a dating discussion
I know,
podcast.
But I don't know. I don't have a specific topic I would talk about. I think the last time I was on the podcast, we super deep dive into that story, and I feel like I explained it horribly wrong, but other than that, I don't know.
Sure. Okay. Let's see what else there is. We have I actually need to get up momentarily. I need to use the restroom. Mason, can you ask them a question or something while I get up? I need to use.
I'm sure we could figure something out. Okay.
Do you guys have any takes? Because I've been here at the table for 2 hours. I need to get up for a moment.
Okay.
I know I've been carrying this entire conversation, but if you guys can carry for 5 minutes while I just get up for a moment, would appreciate it. Thank you guys.
I have a hot take. I have a lot of hot takes, actually. I'm kind of scared of like pissing Brian off, so that's like I'm like ooh spooked. But I see my lack of participation.
He left the table. So,
I know my lack of participation seems to do that. So one of the things that's in the paper is whether or not men and women have equal rights, and I don't think that we have equal rights, but I actually think men get hoed a lot legally. I live in Washington, and I am in social work, and I definitely see a lot of women with a tremendous amount of power when it comes to their children, and men are still legally responsible for their children, but meanwhile women get to make the decision about whether or not they're going to have an abortion without a man having any say in that whatsoever, but can still hold him accountable for child support if she wanted to, and women tend to be the first caretaker that the courts might look at in the event that a parent separate. I do deal with a lot of cases where there's both sides are saying, oh, I suffered domestic violence from the other party, and I've certainly dealt with my fair share of women who have been manipulative with that, and seem to be aware. And that's not all, just to clarify, that's not all. I wouldn't even say that's necessarily most. But yeah, that's my hot take right now. Also, women don't get drafted, so the next time I hear someone say, "Where's the law about men? Like, what laws control men's bodies?" There it is. So, just want to get that out on the table now.
Any takes on that, guys?
I agree with that.
I don't work in that field, so I'm probably not going to be the best of interest. I feel like
I don't think you have to be. I think it's a pretty broad societal issue in Western world. But go ahead.
I feel like it's different in each area, because I feel like for me, this is just my personal. I feel like with the whole abortion, I feel like it depends on the situation, but I do feel like
what depends on the situation?
There's women who get SA'd, and there's a bunch of other things.
That's a very small portion of abortions. I just like to make that note. Not that it's not important, but I feel like with this conversation, we tend to look at the exceptions to the rule, and I think that's where. I don't think it's a fair argument, because of a very large majority, I think it's 97 or 98% of abortions. I'm not super updated on the statistics in the last year or two. Maybe
that's about right.
Is that about right?
That's
okay.
About right.
That's the case. So if we're going to have a conversation, especially about contentious topics, we have to speak generally. Yeah.
Okay.
Is your only point about the?
That's literally my only point.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, nobody has any else nobody has hot takes on this. I feel like this gets me really hated a lot. I didn't tell my coworkers about me being on this podcast for this reason. Yeah.
Fair.
Do they watch it? Do you know?
No. I for a couple months planted the seed, trying to see who was responsive to hey, do you know Brian Atlas or Andrew Wilson or anything like that?
Goodness.
Nobody took the bait, so I was like, oh, I'm clear. I did double check with my supervisor to make sure my job would be safe, because I love my job, but yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
It is wild.
You checked with him, but you never know. Maybe you just said those things, and when you get back, oh, sorry.
You're fine.
Brian?
No, you're wrong.
I was saying your supervisor.
God, the podcast. Oh, my supervisor. She's like, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Deuces. No, she knows a lot of my hot takes. I'm very vocal with her about them.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, she's a cool lady.
Yeah. I have a feeling you'll have people come to you later and be like, I saw you on the show. I have several coworkers that won't admit they watch it, but they're like,
chat, please don't
I saw you on the show.
Oh, God.
Yeah, people did that to me. They're like, I didn't know you were going to be on that. I was like, I didn't even know I was going to be on here.
Oh, my goodness.
I was just in the back, and the next morning, my brother calls me, and he's like, were you in the back of the whatever podcast, just standing there? I'm like, yeah, I was. And he's like, what? I was like, I didn't know he watched it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And also, anybody who ever watches the podcast, they never say they watch the full episode. It's always, I always watch clips. I just see clips.
I saw you on TikTok.
I saw a clip of this. It just popped up. I just saw that. Yeah. Kind of hilarious.
No hot takes, you guys. Yeah. Does anyone else have hot takes?
Has anybody been a cheater?
No.
No.
I feel like even if you did, probably most people are not going to say.
Yeah,
okay, guys, I'm trying to.
Have you?
No.
Oh, I love that for you. Hey, I'm curious. Are the relationships that you have been in with these women that are, just so happen to be long distance, which I have so many questions about.
It's really hard.
Are you monogamous?
Yes.
Have you always been monogamous?
Yes.
By choice or necessity?
By choice.
Are they monogamous?
Mm-hmm.
Are any of them involved in like OF or anything like that?
No. I know it's
just mind blowing. Like, you're from here?
I'm from Arizona.
Arizona. Where in Arizona?
I'm from like Tempe, Phoenix area.
Okay.
Like
there's so many people. Like, what's wrong with those people?
I dated a girl in college, and she lived in my neighborhood. We went to high school together, and then we went to college together, and then I actually moved, and she stayed there. So I made the decision to leave my hometown and to move to California.
Were you was this a partner that you considered a long-term relationship with, like lifelong?
Yes and no. I needed to experience life in my early 20s and go do other things. I loved being with her, but we tried to do long distance because I loved her so much, but it was so hard being in a new state.
Who ended the relationship?
She did.
She did. Okay, so it was hard on her.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really hard on me too. It was hard.
It sounds hard. I just think it's like, I was just curious because you're in these long distance relationships now, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I just don't know how you would do that.
I've only been in like one technically long distance relationship, and that's the one I'm like with now.
Okay. Well, I guess just it turning into a long distance relationship. Interesting. Do you and your ex still talk?
Huh? No.
Ooh, okay. Hard no on that one.
No.
Could I ask you, like you being a virgin, did that affect your past relationships?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, yes, it did. Not because like they all wanted to lay with me. No. It's more my point of view on relationships is very much I'm focused on getting married. So that's primary focus for me. Most of the people in the U.S., their primary focus in dating, even though dating is not a thing that's even mentioned in the Bible. Their primary focus in dating is, am I having a good time? Do I like this person? It's do I have fun with them? Am I having this fantastic time? In the secondary, maybe even tertiary thing they consider is, do I want to get married with this person? It's more of like an afterthought.
Yeah.
So most of the time when I get in a relationship with somebody, or I even go on a first date, second date, like you can say I'm hammering them with these like really specific, like involved questions that need like really detailed answers. Like I'm asking them like their church life, how many kids they want, things like that. Like how many people have you been with in the past? Just various questions like that. Because I'm trying to figure out, it's kind of like a job interview. Like, do you want the job to be my wife? I mean, in our first date,
we grilled each other.
I love that.
My
for
goodness,
you guys.
I was asking her. So I'm a Reformed Baptist. So I was asking her about the 5 points of Calvinism. She didn't know what that meant, but so I'm grilling her about like doctrinal questions, things like that. I mean, of course, we talked about fun stuff. We enjoyed each other's company.
It was 4.5 hours, so we got
4.5 hours. It's not all grilling, but I mean, the most important part of being in a dating relationship to me is definitely, is this person someone I want to marry? So far. As far as I know, I really want to get married to Alexa. I'm pretty sure she feels the same way about me.
Go.
As far as we can tell. Yeah. And that is our primary goal. I mean, that's been our primary goal from day one. Yeah. That usually means like my longest relationship was a year, exactly a year. And then most of the other relationships have only been a few months, very short, just because we figure out pretty quickly. They realize, Mason's really into getting married, and they kind of realize their goal in being in a dating relationship is very much kind of superficial.
So did it turn you off to them, or did it turn them off to you?
Yes.
Okay.
There have been times where it turns me off to them. Sometimes the girl's pretty enough to where, like, you don't want to break up with them, but eventually you come to the realization, like. Yeah.
It's time.
It's time because it's your primary focus.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, so like for me, I grew up in an environment where I didn't see a lot of really healthy relationships, and I used to do user studies and research. So for me, I'm like, I need to see the data. Okay, what is the probability for having a really good relationship? What are the things you should look for? Maybe the things that I don't know. Because if you really ask people how do they date for marriage or what are they looking for, people have a really hard time articulating what they want in a life partner. So there's a saying, there's a lot of people you can love, there's few people you can build a life with. And like, so there's actually a study that was done maybe like 15, 20 years ago that said, and the research showed, if you can agree on, they're called the 4 pillars, and if you can agree on these 4 topics with your partner, the probability of your relationship lasting is, I think, 95%. But for each one you don't have, obviously it's extremely detrimental. And it's funny because like anyone that I know that broke up, it's usually 2 of 4. And so like the number one reason people get divorced in the US is money fights and money problems. How do you value money? Do you think that your partner should only work? Do you want to stay home? What are their thoughts on that? What is their opinion on debt? How do they view the future? Do they spend everything today and hope things work out tomorrow, or are they a planner? Number 2 is in-laws. So that's parents, siblings, all those different, your friends, having people in your life that really love and support the person that you're dating. 3 is kids, whether or not to have them and how to raise them. And 4 is religion. And so like I knew a lot of people, great couple, and it's one of those things like you can be religious and you maybe can say, oh, I don't need to date someone religious. We respect each other. But then once you bring a kid into the mix, well, okay, well, now how do we do it? Because I want my kid to go to church and they don't want their kid to go to church. Or like I had one of my friends, it was funny, we were talking about this and I was talking to his girlfriend. They're no longer together. But we were talking about this and they've been dating for a while. And she goes, oh, like I like his family. And she goes, I don't really get the money thing. And I looked at my friend and I said, hey, and he was raised by a single mom too. And I said, where's your mom living when you're older? He's like, oh, with me. And it's the first time she heard it and she goes, I'm sorry, what? So it's really like, there are things like people I think always think that you have to have the same hobbies as your partner, when in fact, like for me, I actually want someone who has different hobbies. I want someone who's open to learning mine and I want to be open to learning theirs. Yeah. But it's do our values align on the things that we want? So like for him and I, we talked about, okay, what are your thoughts on marriage? Do you expect your wife to stay home and do all the cooking and cleaning? What are your thoughts on kids? Do you want them to be homeschooled? Do you want them to be, going to public school, private school, Christian school? What were the other questions we grilled each other on?
I mean, it was like church life. So we were diving into religion. I mean, it seems like that's probably something we would probably talk about.
Oh yeah, I was like, do you have debt? And you don't have to give me numbers, but like, what are your thoughts on it? Because I think it's one of those things, like if someone says, hey, like I have student debt, debt's a reality, like a lot of people do. But it's, okay, I met someone who was dating a girl who thought you can use a credit card, max it out, and cut it up and be fine. Oh. And I was like, oh, she doesn't realize you eventually are going to have to pay that. She's like, no, I just cut it off. And she goes, they'll call me, but
that's a bad time. I think that's my issue with dating. Like, I want to leave California because I don't think anybody here has intentions of marriage, and that's all I want, to be a mom and get married.
It is very defined.
Yeah. It literally took me,
some girl had to find me through this podcast, and my goodness gracious, it was a lot.
Yeah. I have a quick question for both of you guys. Do you guys find that it's common that a date gets scared away by you bringing up a conversation about the future and important values like children and financials and stuff like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And so like how he said, it kind of comes off as a job interview. I think if you're dating with intention, that's a very clear thing that you can set that as a boundary. But like the way that I would always bring it up on a first date is like, hey, I read this study that said, if you agree on these 4 things, it's very different bringing that up versus like, do you expect your mother to live with you in your
exactly?
That's
you're not really going into that. I mean, like on our first date, we're having a great time. We got coffee, like great views. It was nice weather. Yeah. We're enjoying each other's company. We're talking about ridiculous stuff, funny stuff. Yeah. But then like just bringing that kind of stuff up just naturally. And I mean, but the thing is if your priority is I'm going to get married one day, I need to know, like, is this going to work out, or am I wasting my time dating you? Like, because when you, like, eventually someone else, the random topic comes up, oh, do you want to have kids? And you guys never talked about that. And it's been like 3, 4, 5 years into the relationship, and your guy's like, I've already invested so much time into this person.
Yeah, it's like the worst thing
it's kind of like,
well, and I think
what do I do?
I think that's the thing you have to be strategic about when you date, is the longer you spend, people have this idea of like the zero sunk cost, where it's like, well, I've spent 5 years. If I lose that, I have to start over. It's like, well, you should have started in the beginning with, okay, I'm going down this path with this person. I like asking, there's a saying that I really like that says, people picture their future as a painting, but they say it with their words. So it's asking someone, hey, paint the picture for me of what you want your future to look like. Because I think that's a way that you can ask people, like, what do they want? Because if they tell you, oh, I want, I'm super entrepreneurial, I want like 7 companies, you're like, okay, well, that's someone that probably is going to have to work 60 to 80 hours a week. If no kids are mentioned, or like, how do you view your life with your family? Do you see your Christmas with your parents? Do you want to start your own traditions? How do you want to, see that? Like we asked all those questions, and it was, I asked him, I said, because I won't say where, but like,
yeah, go for it.
His family's in North Africa. So I'm like, okay, are you expecting like every holiday to go back to North Africa to see them? Or, do you want to make your own traditions? And it's asking those questions and really seeing like, what kind of life do you want to build with this person? And from there you have to choose, okay, do I want to sign up for that life?
Yeah. Again, it really all is just, what is your primary goal when you get into a dating relationship? If you want to be married in the future, your primary goal probably should be, is this person someone I would want to marry?
And I think a big thing to know about, and I would say this about, I work in tech. I'm primarily surrounded by men. Like, they'll talk about their relationships here and there. And I can't tell you how surprised I am when a guy goes, oh, I've been with this girl for 6 years. We're just kicking it. And I was like, she has no idea. Like, does she know that? Did she sign up for that? Or is she just kind of waiting around, hoping one day he's going to marry her? And
she's going to have a brutal awakening.
Yeah.
Getting into some of the notes,